Hi, everyone. I ask if you want to interrupt the presentation, just simply raise your hand. Use the raise hand feature. All right, so I'm going to start sharing the screen. Now, due to technical difficulties, this is the only view that you get. I'm sorry. It won't do the full screen without like auto playing and going through all the slides. So we have to do this one at a time. So City Voices is a peer-run project. No one is making any like livable wage off of these projects. This is just the community projects, community coming together to do good work for our peers in mental health and hopefully in addiction too. But it started off mental health and trying to bridge the gap between both communities, the mental health community and the addiction community. It's a challenge because my background's mental health. I'm a peer with a mental health diagnosis. So these projects, again, no one's making a livable wage out of this. I'm, collecting a benefit like SSI. So I'm not making any money off this. This is just, we operate these projects using like almost $0. Okay. We just pay for like a website and very small stipends for 2 volunteers. So what is City Voices? It's a community-based projects. It was started by this man who's Ken Steele in 1998. Now, Ken had a lot more money to work with in doing City Voices because he was sponsored by a gigantic pharmaceutical company whose sponsorship we lost a long time ago. So we've been doing most of our work with zero money. But when Ken was around, there was like, tens of thousands of dollars in 1998 to 2000. He died in 2000, sadly, at the young age of 52. He was on the cover of the New York Times. He did a lot of press. He started a voter project for people with mental illness, and the urban legend says that he registered 35,000 people with mental illness to vote, and nonpartisan, so he couldn't tell you who to vote, but he got people to the polls, 35,000 people. Actually, when Hillary Clinton was running for senator of New York, she called Ken on his phone in his apartment because she thought he controlled, all these thousands of mental illness votes. I remember that day. I was in the living room and he told me and whoever else, his cleaning lady, everyone be quiet. I am on the phone with Hillary Clinton. And so that was that. And but before he died, he wrote a book called The Day the Voices Stopped. The Day the Voices Stopped. You can look that up. So what do we do to build community for people with lived experience? Well, let's get into that. We have a number of projects, a number of cool projects. We don't have the money to make the projects national or even like thousands of people knowing about it, but a couple hundred people know about it. And within that 100 or 200, thanks to social media, some people show up. So here are some events. We do fun events that draw a crowd, like cracking up and I'll get to the Friendship Squad, I promise. The Friendship Squad is under City Voices. The Friendship Squad is a wonderful project that is one of our many projects. So we do fun events like Cracking Up, which is a mental health comedy show. Crazy Talented, which is like a variety show with not just comedy, but also singing and music and dance and improv. And we're looking to do other kinds of shows too. Like, we are starting an improv. Improv is like when it's not scripted and the actors are just putting on a show right in the moment, like spontaneously. Like they'll get a word from the audience and like it could be eggplant. Then they'll make like a skit, from their heads and with each other and a group as a team about eggplant, whatever that could be. So That's improv. And improv, I think, is a wonderful skill to learn, to be able to like be in the moment, be comfortable with your team, learn team skills, work together, and to think on your toes. It's a wonderful skill. And all these skills, all these shows, we feature people with lived experience. You know, the talent is the people with lived experience, which is mostly mental health, but a couple people with addiction overlaps too. But, you know, once again, we're trying to, build that bridge. And so if you have any other ideas and you want to help plan, you can contact me. I'm Dan, and there'll be contact information on the last slide. Okay, so here's the Friendship Squad, right? This is another project we have, and it's pairing people with life challenges together in friendships. Life challenges such as mental illness, addiction disorders, incarceration, those kinds of challenges together in friendships. And it's 2 years now, and we've had like 60 or 70 people come in and out of the project. And and I'm the matchmaker. Like when people who want, either people who need friends, they come into the project, they fill out an online application, and the people who are the volunteer friends are people who I vet and interview to make sure that their heart's in the right place for this kind of volunteer work. So no one's getting paid. So it's not like someone's being paid to be your friend. They're being your friend because they want to give back. They want to provide peer support. And it's a wonderful kind of peer support. Friendship. We've all had friends. You've had friends. I've had friends. We depend on friends. Now I can't see the chat. Do I have is the gentleman still here who introduced me? Okay, never mind. We'll just keep moving on, and then I'll stop the share because I can't see anything until I stop the share. All right, so that's the Friendship Squad, and it's a wonderful thing. We also do something called Peers in Person, which is in-person gatherings of people with life challenges, our family, friends, and allies for fun activities in the city. And I think I can see the chat. So Peers in Person is, once COVID started calming down, we could start getting together as real people in real in public places. So during the warm weather, we go to like parks like Central Park and Bryant Park. And in the cold weather, we go to museums and we do art gallery hopping. And we're going to another museum. Oh, and for Black History Month, we did a walking tour of Harlem, which was a lot of fun. And attendance is pretty good. We get like from 3 people to like 15 people. The Harlem tour had about 10 people. And we're always looking, the more the merrier is what I feel about it. And the next event is going to be at a museum that displays queer culture and queer art, LGBTQ plus stuff. And I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up, and you're all invited. If you're in New York City, you're all invited. You'll get my contact information and the last slide. Okay, so Peer Workers United, some of you may be familiar with this. This is another project of City Voices, which has a life of its own. These are the 4 group facilitators, starting on your left to your right. There's Philip, Tishna, Michelle, and Chris. And it's a support group for peer support workers, because peer support work is hard work. Peer specialist work is hard work. It's emotionally challenging. And sometimes it's you can get hurt on the job. It's hurtful. Maybe, you have a disagreement with somebody or something like that. Or you don't feel like you're getting proper supervision, or a list of other complaints, or whether you're not even able to provide actual peer support. because the office culture doesn't understand the value of peer support. So all these issues are coming into play at Peer Workers United. You're all invited to Peer Workers United. It's the first and third Monday of every month. It's on Zoom. We have like a national audience. We average like 10 to 20 people, and it's a beautiful thing. And just contact me. My information will be at the end, and I'll give you information on all these things. Now, this is one of my favorite things. It's a spirituality group. I do it every Saturday at 11:30, and sometimes we have guest speakers who share. These are just regular people who've had spiritual experiences, regular people like you and me, and they've had spiritual experiences that they discuss their journey. One of our last speakers was someone who grew up in the rough streets of the Bronx, and he was involved with gangs, and somehow he made a decision after being incarcerated that he's got to put that life behind him, even though there was a lot of money in it, a lot of women in it, a lot of drugs and booze, and it was like the fast lane. But he slowed down, and he rejected that lifestyle, and he grew into a man who had kids and became a family guy. And also he managed to land a decent job. Someone gave him a chance, even though he had a record. Someone gave him a chance, and now he's like in charge of the entire phone system of a major hospital. Oh, and another person who spoke at the spirituality group had a story of when she was younger, and her family, they were all carnivores, right? All eating meat. And she eventually, with her love of animals, her spiritual journey took her to a life as becoming a mother and becoming a vegan. And so the kids protested in the beginning, but then she got really good at vegan cooking. And so now she's a vegan with like a ton of like animals in the house, from like hamsters to dogs to cats to birds. It's like wild. All right, so I love this group, and you're invited. And I hope I'll give you more information. You just contact me. The information's at the end of the this project, this speaking thing. Okay, so we also have the Friendly Visitors Project, okay, where a small group of us, like 3 to 5 people, good Samaritans, all of us, and most of us are peers with lived experience. Some people aren't, but we're all good Samaritans, and we want to give back to the community. And we visit long-term settings where we engage the residents in small talk and games. And we did our second one just on Monday, just this past Monday, at a place called the Wanakee, which is a residence for people with mental illness in Manhattan. And it went really well. I met through my networks a Buddhist monk, a Buddhist monk from a small temple in the Bronx. He's actually just one of 3 people that lives and works in this temple in the Bronx. And I met him through Indeed.com, because I posted Indeed, a volunteer posting on Indeed, and I got all these resumes, and his was one of the resumes. Very simple resume. I'm a Buddhist monk. I know how to meditate. I know how to guide meditation, and I know how to talk to people. That was his resume. And he came to this friendly visit on Monday, and he was great. He answered people's spiritual questions. And he also engaged people in like a meditation. He called it metta meditation, METTA meditation, which is like loving kindness meditation, where you wish good and love and goodwill and positive vibrations for your family, your friends, and the world at large. And it's like, and you do it while you're meditating. Okay. So, and if you want to be part of the Friendly Visitors Project, yes, you can be part of that too. So here's our social media community, because I mean, most of this stuff couldn't have been done without social media, because social media is A, free, and B, a great way to meet lots of people. So currently, City Voices Facebook group has 984 members, just about that. The Peer Workers United Facebook group has about 150 members. The spirituality Facebook group has about 140. City Voices Twitter it's actually gone down to like 140 followers. YouTube has gone up to 95 subscribers, and TikTok just started, but TikTok's great because we can create these short little snappy videos, and we can promote, our events and stuff, and they get like hundreds of like clicks, and it's so much fun. It is a lot of fun. Okay, so this is my contact information. I'll also put it in the chat. Let me see if I can access the chat. And okay, so if you have a question, just unmute yourself or raise your hand or whatever you'd like to do, and I'll put the contact information in the chat. Let's see. Okay. And like I said, these projects, they're almost at no cost, and they help a bunch of people. They help me. I mean, I've met so many wonderful people doing this, and I hope they help other people. We also do a silence meditation group where we spend 15 minutes together, just an absolute. And then after the 15 minutes, we start talking to each other and checking in with each other. So I'm going to put the phone number too. And the website. All right. All right. Well, so if you're interested in any of our projects, or you have an idea for something new, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll put my name in the chat too. All right. So it's only 11:26, and I have till 12 o'clock. But I mean, we could cut out early if there's no questions or really no interest. But I thought I'd make this presentation because it's a little different of what we're doing, and I thought somebody might be interested. Oh, hey.
Hi, sorry. I do have one question. Is this primarily city? Sorry, just because I'm Orange County, so I'm just curious if all of these groups are primarily city, and if not, since some of them are virtual, are they still,
Oh my God, the virtual are like anywhere in the world. My goodness. Like Peer Workers United, the support group for peer workers, that's like national, that's like international. We've had people from Canada and Australia and Israel on that Zoom. And the spirituality group is for anyone with Zoom as well. And the silence group, which wasn't included, but we could tell you about that too. That's also on Zoom.
I would love to hear about the silence group, but thank you.
Oh my God, just send me an email, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Check out our website. Oh, I also do the silence in person as well at a place called Fountain House. And I love it. Even though it's like a small group, like 3-4 people, when Bhante comes, and Bhante is the Buddhist monk from the Bronx, it's like it takes the meditation to like a whole new level.
Hey, Dan.
Hey.
P. Thaddeus Brown here. How's it going?
Pretty good. I think you and I have spoken on the phone.
Yes, we have. We have definitely connected through the New York City Peer Coalition activities. And good afternoon to everyone else as well. So Dan, a question for you. We have an initiative over here at the Brooklyn Community Recovery Center called Peer Considerations, and it is a up and growing space for peer professionals, recovery advocates, friends of recovery, community members, stakeholders of recovery, et cetera, et cetera. And we're planning to do an activity, a mini seminar in May. So right now I'm looking to identify some potential speakers, but also some support in getting the, getting the information out. So I would love to connect with you, because we're looking at this as an opportunity over here, that particular group, to learn from those that have already sort of blazed the trails in terms of establishing, these here borough and citywide peer coalitions. And we'd really like to be able to get that that learning and support so that we can do the same here in the borough of Brooklyn.
Sure, sure, sure. I'm just an email away or a phone call away. I put my phone in the chat too. I hope you can see that, and we can talk more about it, no problem.
Sounds great. And I appreciate all of the great work that you're championing and advancing in terms of the recovery movement.
Thank you, Thaddeus. Now, Thaddeus is a cool name. That I used to play a game called Dungeons and Dragons, and I would definitely name my wizard Thaddeus, like Thaddeus the Gray or something like that. That's a wizard's name. Do you have any magical powers, Thaddeus?
Yeah, the magical power is that it's called grace, mercy, and all of those wonderful things that still have me, as a part of this here process. Those are the magical powers, but they come from a power greater than myself. Yeah,
we're just tools, Thaddeus, really. We're just like tools, right? For like a higher power. But that's what if you're not a tool, I think you're missing out on life.
Yeah, just a vehicle carrying the message of hope, connecting folks to opportunity and resources.
Yeah, and healing happens at the same time.
Absolutely.
For the person who's in the tool role, as well as the person who's being included and connected with. And there's this old Jewish saying that it goes something like, if you help just one person, maybe it could be a shy person, maybe the person's only 3 feet tall, you're helping the world.
I concur.
So I see a lot of email. Some people are putting emails and their contact information. All right, well, I hope I can get a copy of this chat somehow. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, save chat. All right. Well, I hope that works. And if I don't hear from you, I hope you'll hear from me. But I'm going to put my information one more time in the chat, just because the chat keeps scrolling, so it may be hard to follow, but let's try that again. But for anyone who heard the presentation, I am like all ears for any questions or comments or if you came late, maybe you have a question like, what the hell is this all about? So I'm putting my information in the chat again.
I did miss the very beginning. I think I was about 5 minutes late. So if there's something that I definitely missed in that amount of time, if you could please just let me in on that, that would be great. Thanks.
Karen, did you get the information about our founder, Ken Steele?
No, I did not.
All right. So we were founded by this guy named Ken Steele, and he died at the young age of 52 in the year 2000. And before he died, he wrote a book, and I'm going to put the name of the book in the chat. It's called The Day the Voices Stopped. And it's a really good book. But of course, what worked for Ken, which was, you know, he believes his savior was a medication, doesn't like work for everybody else. Some people are fine without medication, but for him, he says the voices stopped because he took a pill. By Ken Steele. But after the voices stopped, he was really able to like jumpstart his life, his career. And according to urban legend, he registered 35,000 people with mental illness to vote nationally through his voter project. And when Hillary Clinton was running for New York State Senate, you know, when her career in politics just started in the late 90s, she called Ken because she thought he controlled all these mental illness votes. And that really happened. So yeah, he led an extraordinary life. His last 10 years of life were extraordinary. And he was on the cover of the New York Times twice. And he founded this project, and he had thousands and thousands of dollars in corporate support, which we lost. So today we're operating on a budget that's not much above $0. But most of the stuff we do is we could do it free, thanks to the social media being free, and thanks to you know, telephones and what have you, and Zoom. All right. So that's what you missed, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, no, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry about that.
So what I always say when it comes to our spirituality group on Saturdays, if we lapse into silence, that's a beautiful thing, because silence, I read a quote somewhere that God only speaks to people through silence. Something like that. Like silence is the language of God. So let's have some silence. And if the spirit moves you, break the silence and ask a question, make a comment, say something, but only if the spirit moves you. Otherwise, we'll be talking to God for a while.
Oh, I am. Hi, I was trying to raise my hand. Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for just the presentation. And I'm really excited to just learn more about the friendship project that you guys are involved in, because I would love to repeat it, like to replicate it in the program that I work in, which is, I don't know how to though. I recently started working with VNS Health. I work in the VNS IMT program, Intensive Mobile Treatment. So some of the people that I partner and support, some of them are not, some of them are homeless, some of them do reside in regular residences. So I'm just trying to think how I can replicate, have like a little piece of what the great services that you're providing for others through this friendship program.
Let's see, like your name is Karen?
Yes.
Karen Smalls?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Karen, do you have access to the chat?
Yes.
Okay, so I just put in a link, and that's like how to start a friendship squad of your own, how to start a friendship project of your own. And you know, just because I took a number of steps doesn't mean you have to do all those steps. It's like there's a free PDF, you could download it, you could read it, and there's contact information for me. But the phone number is incorrect on the PDF, so I'm putting the correct phone number in the chat right now.
Thank you. Great.
And I will support you every step of the way, Karen.
Oh, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it, because I'm already seeing, I've worked at my position with VNS IMT program since November of this past year. And I can see that the people that I'm partnering with and supporting, that they would benefit so much from us just, you know, meeting up with others and being able to talk with them and having that support and friendship. So I really appreciate this.
I think like our slogan should be like, no one with a life challenge should be without a friend. Nobody should suffer alone.
Exactly. Exactly. Because sometimes that's really all you need, someone to listen to you. There's someone right now that's all they just talk to me in the morning, and then that helps them get through the rest of their day. And it's just as simple as that sometimes, just someone listening to you. So this is such a great project.
And that's the idea behind two projects, the Friendship Squad and the Friendly Visitor Project. Because when we go into the residence, sometimes the people in the residents themselves hardly get out of the residence, and they spend all their time there. So we come in, people from outside come in and just like engage them and talk about what they're passionate about. And people have dreams, people have aspirations, people wanted to do things, see things, and we engage on that level, you know?
Yes, I love that you're saying that, Dan, because even as I'm meeting with people in the community and you know, trying to help empower them, as I'm learning myself how to connect to different services that can help me in my recovery, as I'm sharing that information, I think it's great to recognize that we have dreams, we have goals. It's not just about, oh, what's your medication, what appointment you need to make it to. I really, you know, look to go beyond that. What type of music do you like? Let's go to this event in the city. There's so many free things going on. It's not just about me, you know, partnering with you and taking you to this appointment or that appointment. Yes, that's so vitally important, but there's so much more to us in our lives, you know, and it's great that we get to remind each other and share that, you know, that just going and checking out a new restaurant together, or going and checking out a museum or something that can be so vital to your health and lift your spirit up too. So I'm trying to make sure I bring that where I'm working at, so that my colleagues can see is, yes, the appointments are fine. I definitely want to help partner and support people going to their mental health and medical appointments, but recreational, finding out people's dreams, their goals, other than mental health, or, you know, there's so much more. And we have to help people sometimes to realize that, the clinicians and stuff, help them to see there is a whole person, and it's a great thing to tap into all of those things. So I appreciate this.
That was really nicely put.
I have to say, I so agree, because I work in urgent care. And, you know, we do a lot of questionnaires, and I'm usually one of the first people to meet with them to kind of see what brings them in. And one of the major questions we always ask them is, you know, do they feel isolated? And most of them do. And to be able to meet in a group where they could, you know, share and make friends, and I think that would be instrumental. So I appreciate all the information.
Yeah. You know, I'm trying to get a big clubhouse called Fountain House to allow the Friendship Squad to flourish amongst its membership, because it has like thousands of members. It's like a huge organization. They own buildings, and they and they throw big parties, and they have an art gallery, and they have all this stuff, you know. $35 million agency is Fountain House. So, wish me luck with that. And, we're going to start small. I just requested that I be able to choose a Fountain House employee to work alongside me. Someone, who is enthusiastic and wants to do this type of work, because it's work. And I also requested that that person be compensated by Fountain House for doing this work, in addition to whatever other tasks they might have. So that was my ask. So we'll see what happens. And then she or he or they and I will work together just with 20 people. We're starting small. Yes, Fountain House has 2,000 members, but if we can work with 20 people, which is like 1%, and build 10 friendships, 2 and 2 and 2,
Nice.
That would be wonderful. And I have to say, the funnest part of this, Karen Smalls, is making the matches. You look at the applications and then you connect people. That is the funnest part. And the most challenging part is like helping people to resolve disputes or arguments, you know, when they say, oh, I've just had enough of this person. Yeah. So, but we haven't, thank God, had to deal with anything like a crisis, you know, like a mental health or anything, except I will say that we didn't turn anyone away. And there were people who just had such a hard time in life that they couldn't stick with it. And we asked people to stay 6 months.
Nice.
To dedicate at least 6 months to the project. And some people stayed 6 months and then dropped out, but the friendship continues, you know, even outside the project.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had someone who was dealing with, what's another word for homelessness? It's like, there's a politically correct word for
there is a political.
Okay. Unhoused. He was unhoused. He was unhoused, and he had like an alcohol addiction and a terrible temper.
Okay.
But the amazing thing was that he wouldn't talk to anybody except for the friend that he made through the Friendship Squad. But then eventually that stopped too. And we can only, you know, sometimes when people drop out like that, we can only just pray for them, because we don't ask for anyone's address. Nobody gets an address. So that way no one can call the cops on you.
That makes so much sense.
There'll be a lot of talking, a lot of listening, mostly listening if someone's in crisis, but there's no way to call it. It's not part of the volunteer's responsibility to make that call.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. Yeah, wow.
We have the same thing in urgent care. And I have to say that we have a lot of people that drop out, but a lot also come back. And they might not come back right away. Like sometimes it'll be a year or two later. And they still remember what they learned or what they received or what they had. And so even though we might not always see the immediate impact, it really does, you know, give them support and cause change, you know, because they know they can come back. So.
And I've heard through facilitating on occasion, Peer Workers United, from the peer workers, from the peer specialists, that sometimes, you know, the other staff members use the peer specialist as a means to get information from the clients, because the client really only trusts the peer specialist to be able to express the truth. And that's not a position that a peer specialist wants to be in.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Because that relationship is built on mutuality and trust. And you're right. It shouldn't be, no one should be put in that position. If the person doesn't freely want to share the information, is not immediate risk to themselves or other, if you don't share it, it makes sense to not, risk that trust that one peer is gained with another during those times. That makes sense.
And I believe like that should be, when a peer specialist is engaging with another peer, the first thing they should say is, listen, you know, you can tell me anything, but there are certain things that I do have to report because I'm a mandated reporter. So there should be understanding around that, you know.
Right from the beginning, you're absolutely right there. So at least the person is aware, both people are aware what the boundaries are, what the limitations are, what, you know, everyone's aware. And that makes so much sense. But I would love to, thank you so much for this information, because I'm definitely going to look more into it to see if there's any way that I could replicate it. And I definitely would be reaching out to you to just seek advice. Yeah.
You know, like right here, like there's a spotlight on me here, but I'm just very reach outable.
Thank you.
And we'll talk on the phone, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan.
All right, so I don't know. I think I have 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna give like a minute. Does anyone have any question or any comment? Who hasn't shared yet? I'm looking at the clock. When the minute's up, then I'll move on. Let's see.
Dan?
Yes.
Okay, this is Sand Curtin, and I'm not, I'm not tapping in to share. I'm actually running off, and I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder to ask everyone to check the chat for the evaluation.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
All right.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Bye.
All right, 30 more seconds in case anyone else wants to chime in, because I was thinking of just going back to the slide presentation and doing, like, for the latecomers, doing a really quick overview of each project, like really snappy. Like we're in an elevator and I'm giving you elevator pitches, you know what I mean? So, all right, so that's what I'll do. So let me share the screen again. All right. Okay, so we do fun events. We actually do events like comedy shows that focus on mental illness, you know, like making light of mental illness. We do crazy talented variety shows, which is like, you know, all kinds of music and singing and dancing. And we're looking to do other shows too. And we're doing an improv show this year too, which is very exciting. Now, the Friendship Squad. We pair people with life challenges together in friendships. What's a life challenge? It's mental illness, it's substance use disorder, or what have you. And it's surviving incarceration. So we pair people with similar challenges with each other, peer-to-peer friendships, and that's the Friendship Squad. We also do Peers in Person, which are in-person gatherings, people with life challenges and family, friends, allies. We average like 3 people attend to like up to 15 people attend. It's all random. You know, you never know who's going to show up. And in the warm weather, we're in the parks, in the city parks. These are in-person things. We also do virtual things for anybody around the world, but these are things in New York City. Peers in Person, gallery hopping, art gallery, cultural events, blah, blah, blah. Then we have Peer Workers United. This is on Zoom. It's peer workers from all over the world, all over the country. And it's hosted by Philip, Tishna, Michelle, and Chris. And it's a support group for peer support workers and for people who are interested in peer support work. We're having another one the first Monday in March, which I think is March 6th. I'm not sure. But come, please, if you're a peer worker or you're interested in peer work, come to the Peer Workers United. We also do a Saturday spirituality group because I found spirituality when COVID started, and it really helped me to cope with the losses, the feelings of anxiety that were like in the air and the collective. Everyone was freaking out. I was in a grocery store and someone screamed at me, "Put your bandana up over your face again." Because my bandana slipped, and this was before we had the fancy masks. You know, we were all wearing bandanas. So spirituality group every Saturday, 11:30. It's also virtual. All are welcome to come. Friendly Visitors Project. Okay, this is New York City based, and we visit long-term settings where people with mental illness or addictions are housed, and we come to the residents with games and small talk. We also have social media. We've got Facebook. We've got like 3 Facebook groups. We've got Twitter. We've got YouTube. We've got TikTok. All right. And this is my contact information again, but I also put it in the chat several times, so I hope you got it. And that, in brief, is the show, is the presentation. Now we have 6 more minutes left. If you're a latecomer and you just saw all these elevator pitches and you have some questions, please, now is the time. We've got like 6 minutes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ira Weiss. I'm a mental health peer specialist at Central National Guidance. Sorry I was late. I was at another workshop that ended early. I'm interested if you could put in the text in the chat the login information for the support group.
Oh, yes, I will
Peer
do
Workers
that.
United.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dan.
I'm doing that right now. Let me just get the link. All right, it's a link to our website, but it has all the information there. There you go. It says group schedule. And thank you for asking.
Thank you so much for adding it. Seems like I missed the beginning, but I caught the elevator.
Good.
Elevator speech part. So.
Wait, did you get your arm caught in the elevator? I'm just kidding.
What agency do you work for?
No, this is just community projects. No agency, no government.
Oh, okay, I heard you
no
mention
nonprofit, no government agency. This is just the community doing good stuff for the community.
Oh, very cool. Good job. Thank you again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fatima, and I am from Foundations Recovery Community Center. We are in Nanuet, New York, in Rockland County. And I'm so grateful to be on this workshop because this is something that we're bringing into our center. And I'm the only Hispanic speaking peer supporter at this time. And there's a huge need in the Hispanic community. You know, there's still, the Hispanic community is very much stigmatized at this moment. And it's just, you know, our women suffer in silence. So I've started small groups on Saturdays, you know, Grateful Hearts, just a gratitude circle, and I've been, now I'm ready for the next step. So listening to all of this, it's, I have so many ideas. I have so many things written down, and I can't wait to get to the office tomorrow and tell everybody about it. Thank you, Dan, for all you do. And I have all of your information, and I'm going to share it with my direct supervisor, because this is what it's all about. This is, and I remember when I was in my basement, as much as I wanted to make connections to other people, I just didn't even know how to say hello to somebody. I just felt like a complete alien. So this is wonderful. I love this.
And like with Karen before you, if you want to start a friendship squad or do anything similar to what we're doing, you can. And I will help you, and you can call me or you can write me, whatever you want to do.
Oh, we're going to be calling you, because I have a strong feeling we're going to want to meet you in person. So you're invited.
All right. All right. We have 2 minutes left, and I want to remind everybody, like the person said, which is that there's a evaluation form in the chat, which I hope you can all download or what have you with it. Yeah, so I just want to thank everyone very, very much. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.